Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 25th. This is Emily Freitag with Instruction Partners with your daily digest of COVID news and resources. There are currently 55,225 confirmed cases in the United States, and the death toll is doubling every 3 days. All eyes are on New York right now, which is turning into a significant epicenter, but there are just a huge number of cases scattered throughout the country right now. So this is growing quickly. EdWeek updated their mapping system because there's kind of more nuance emerging around school closures, down to 3 states that are still varying by district, with a number of states closed through March, an increasing number closed through April. And then an increasing number closed through May, still with Virginia and Kansas as the only 2 for the academic year, but also a growing number of states that are kind of closed until further notice. We've been talking a lot about the hierarchy of needs in these videos, and today I want to share a few resources at the top around learning. This, of course, comes after making sure your team is organized, safety plans, clarity of policy, strong engagement in relationships, and figuring out some questions around access. But I wanted to share in more detail sample schedules. So we released yesterday a number of different sample schedules, and this includes scheduling considerations for multiple roles. So families, teacher schedules, leader schedules, and then sample schedules for K-5 as well as 6-12. Now, we are all living into a new reality. We based these on what we're seeing emerging across plans. We will absolutely adapt them over time, and if you do try them and you have feedback, please let us know and we will update it immediately. We also released a number of resources yesterday on experiential learning. The Mo Williams doodles every day are getting a ton of attention and a fun way to engage families. Teaching Tolerance released some great do something performance tasks, and National Women's History Museum is doing virtual field trips. Weather Channel is doing 10-minute lessons on the 50-minute of the hour. We'll keep those coming. There's also a great article that came out in Edutopia yesterday about teaching through a pandemic. It rounded out the mindsets that teachers globally are finding useful during this time, and they seem really on. So you can Google Edutopia teaching through a pandemic if you want to get the article and share it. But a few of the mindsets: expect trial and plenty of error. Definitely finding we have to lower the bar for perfectionism and try something and then know that the success is going to be on how we improve it over time. Acknowledge the extraordinary. These are not usual times. No one should think that this is a time for business as usual. Teachers may need explicit permission to understand this is not normal, and therefore we're going to do things differently. Reducing the workload for yourself and your students. I've seen some interesting videos coming out globally of parents just overwhelmed with the number of assignments kids are getting and really frustrated by it. And of course, we do want to keep kids engaged, but just watch the workload. Make sure it's manageable. Know that everyone is coping with new emotions. No person is an island. Finding ways to connect teachers to each other, your own school community, broader school communities, whether that is online channels, Facebook groups, etc., or Zoom meetings and allowing people to video chat, Google Hangout, etc. Making sure people feel connection right now. Everyone thinks they can't before they can. We are finding this at Instruction Partners too, but I think this is so real. It's like we're crushed by the volume of problems, and then we start to rebound and remember how much we know how to do. and mind the gap. It is very clear that this is going to affect students and families very differently. And, you know, there's equality, there's equity, and there's reality. I think we certainly want to really be thinking about equitable solutions, which means giving kids what they need, not giving all kids the same. And so really bringing that to the front for teachers, and giving permission to think about different needs in different ways may be an important. We're gonna cut this video a little short so that we can hear from a partner today. So in a minute, I'm going to turn this over to Joey Hassell to share some of what he is doing in Haywood County so you can hear from each other. Just a reminder, my email, emily.freitag@instructionpartners.org. Feel free to send me anything that you think is of use or any questions you're hoping for solutions. EB Freitag at Twitter, and you can subscribe to the YouTube channel on YouTube. One day at a time, strive for progress, not perfection. See you tomorrow, and over to Joey.
Joey Hassell, Superintendent at Haywood County Schools. We were out last week due to our spring break. So yesterday started our break with the COVID-19 school closure extension. Right now we are set to be out through March 31st. However, we do expect that to change, and we're planning accordingly. For us this week, our priority has been our meal service since we were out on spring break last week, and there wasn't guidance to serve during spring break prior to moving into spring break. We started our meal service for students yesterday. So this week, we're really focused on having school and district level administrators at those sites. We have 5 sites in our community, and having administrators from school and district there, and also just ensure that we're there to support our school nutrition team. So we've served for 2 days, and numbers will be coming in shortly. We also this afternoon at 2 o'clock are doing a Zoom call with the administrators and the school nutrition leadership who've kind of worked through the first 2 days, and we're going to talk about how we want to adjust our plans for next week and how we want to communicate that. So our top priority has really been about meal service this week. Our second priority has been just trying to get in contact with our staff. And so we have set up Zoom calls for individual staff meetings for our 6 campuses. So those will be Thursday, and we've scheduled about 40 minutes for each staff meeting, and principals will talk to their teachers. Of course, there's been more frequent communication via text and email, but we thought it would be nice just to have all of our staffs check in so everyone could see everyone, and we're going to do that. We also have a Zoom call with all of our instructional teams to start talking about our plan for providing instructional support, which we said would start April 6th. We really just kind of want to focus on those basic needs of food, getting kids fed, and also just a relationship, checking in, making sure everyone's okay, and see what the needs are. So that's been our focus as we've returned back to school this week. So as we think about instructional planning, there's several things that we've tossed around as a team. Interestingly, our focus and a lot of what we push out on social media is an emphasis on equity. And as we think about equity, what we're experiencing with the coronavirus and COVID-19 closure has kind of changed that whole conversation, because in our community, we're a rural district, but we have students who don't have access to dependable internet. So we're really having to think how we want to approach that, and how we ensure that all students have what they need. Right now, the only thing that we've said instructionally is mandatory is for those students who are dually enrolled in a college course or any type of dual enrollment that they have. If the higher ed institutions are continuing, which they are, making sure that those students who are duly enrolled are on target and completing those. One example, we passed out calculators today during meal service at the high school, and students were swinging by to pick those up. So our first thing is we're really trying to make sure that we plan how we're going to address the inequities that exist because of lack of internet access and everything. So as we move forward, our conversation is, do we want to, are we going to try to deliver instruction? How are we going to try to do that? What are we going to ask our staff to do? So right now, we're really just going to focus on supports, material that students should be familiar with, just giving some activities and things for parents to do at home, share resources, have our principals record messages, really do quite a bit on Facebook Live, or where teachers can place those videos for their families to see, just thinking differently about how we spread that out. We've also, one of our team members today is working on our YouTube site for Haywood County Schools, and so we can put some messages there. So we're really in a state where we're just trying to think about all of those pieces, and I think it will evolve and improve as we get to that April 6th date of pushing some support out instructionally for our families.